Hi, Patrick here, Have Cheeto Will View, and we are back uh, with the 52 books and 52-week challenge. It's been a minute since I put one down, so I noticed that I was falling far, far behind. So I thought I better hurry up and try to catch up. I was reading a nonfiction book called No Angel, but I got sort of slogged down into it, so I wanted to jumpstart my reading. So I went back to my stack of books that I've gotten from the library, adventure books. And so we read another Harlan Coben book. We read Long Shot. This is the ninth book in the Myron Bolitar series, and it's an interesting one to say the least. The plot has Myron being called over to being called by an ex-flame to come over to Paris, and due to some extracurricular activity by Myron and Wynn, it's prudent that they actually go to Paris. So they go to Paris and to help his ex-flame, Therese Collins, and we find out that her ex-husband has been murdered, and she is suspect number one. And so Myron goes over there to try to help her, uh, tries to help her with her problems, and she's got a lot of them, and and that includes Myron and Therese being picked up by the French police and questioned. And Myron and the chief inspector Burland hit it off immediately. While he is a suspect, they don't really like him too much, the French police, but him and Burland actually do connect, and why they don't have anything on Myron to hold him, they let him go. But then he is attacked by some assailants, and he's forced to shoot one, who later dies. And now the French police have to bring Myron in for questioning for a possible murder, even though it was self-defense. Berlin knows it's self-defense, but he's just one man. So Wynn and Therese and Wynn and Myron all go to London, and that's where things really hit the soup. Um, as we find out that there's a possibility that Teresa's daughter, who was supposedly killed 10 years ago in a car crash, may not have died, and so the mystery is on to find out who killed uh, uh, Teresa's ex-husband, and is Teresa's daughter still alive. All right, so this is an exciting book for about three-quarters of the way through, and it has some of the most intense writing, um, including a scene that will scare everybody. it's it's sometimes you find out that the evil that you're fighting is not as big as the evil as is beside you or behind you, and supposedly is your friend. This is an interesting book, like I said, a lot of interesting story twists. But overall, it went from being a book that I would just be like, hell yes, to just like yes. A couple of things that really sort of bummed me out too was with this book was it started out really fast. I really liked the connection that Coben established between Myron and the French inspector Berland. Really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the repartee between the two of them. But the relationship, instead of developing, instead of the two actually working together throughout the book, it gets dropped. It gets dropped like from the first quarter of the book to the last quarter. It's the middle of the whole book where he's hardly involved at all, and so when he is picked up in the last quarter of the book, it really doesn't really seem to fit. Um, and I was really disappointed with that because I really like the character, and while I'm happy, well, that's probably a strong word, but well, I'm happy with how he resolved it because hey, sometimes things happen. Um, I just wish he had. I think we would have had more. I think we would have more caring for the character if he had left him inside the book throughout the whole book. Um, the character, the other assistant characters. This is Therese Collins. We do meet her. We end up later on that Therese and Myron do get together after this book. They do become a couple, um, and but that's later on. The character's a Win, his best friend. Um, that's a really interesting character. He's really cool. Definitely, Win is definitely growing on me as being a true badass. Um, Not Max the Silent badass, but sort of Bruce Wayne-ish badass. Um, so, uh, but the last quarter of the book, maybe the last I don't know, last 70 pages of it, and this is a 371 page book, by the way. Um, the last scene, it didn't really, it felt rushed. It absolutely felt rushed, and it's anticlimactic. It was underwhelming, the ending, and really surprised me because up to that point, it's one rocketing book. I mean, it goes from New York to Paris to London, back to New York to New Jersey, and I know, right, New Jersey, but that's where it took us. Um, it's great as far as that goes, but the last 60 70 pages, it didn't have that normal Harlan Coben punch to it, and so this goes from like a hell yeah to a yeah. Though there is a scene in this book that will scare everybody if you read this book or have read this book. And if you have read this book, you'll know the section I'm talking about. If you haven't, that is worth the price of admission alone for this one. It's scary as hell. For a fictional book, there seems to be a lot of nonfiction in it, and it's a lot of it's based on facts. I know. I'm talking in the. I'm sure you're looking and going, "What the hell is he talking about?" Can't spoil it for you. Can't spoil it for you. All right. One small thing too, but I've been doing this series, and this is the seventh book that we've done. Um, I tell you what really surprised me about doing this series, and this series is brought to us by our good friend Allie Eisman, and I've been joined by this from Sue from the Bud Files, and her and I are doing this together, and we're inspired by Allie Eisman. But the really thing that surprises me is it doesn't seem very many people read. I put out. It's interesting. It's an interesting microcosm. I'm looking at like people where they come by and read the book review. No, no, not at all. It makes me laugh because I'm all like, I know we're on a video oriented site, but I would like to think that still people actually still out there read. And I put the hashtags out there, and nothing, nothing. Nobody comes by and checks it out. It's interesting. So again, let me ask this before we let you go. Um, what books have you read lately? Not you, Sue. I already know. What books have you read lately? What are you reading right now? Drop some of your favorite authors down in the comments below. Um, and yeah, tell me what the book you're reading, some of the authors you would recommend, and tell me your best book. Tell me your favorite book that you've ever read. We'd like to know. Maybe we'll find it, and maybe they'll find its way onto the list. All right. Well, this is book 7 of 52, and we're on to the next one. If you're new to the channel and you're watching this, that would be a miracle. If you're watching this, please consider giving us a sub. Hit the like button. That would be another miracle, minor miracle. And then drop a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the video and of the book. Another miracle. And we will talk at you soon. Peace. Peace.